let's start with chapter number 1, that is Introduction to Strategic Management. In this chapter, guys, we'll be studying 6 concepts. Okay. So the first concept that I would like to start here is management. Now, what do you understand by management? In simple language, management means getting things done through and with the help of people. In a large organization, one person will not be able to do all the tasks, right? So we'll have to hire employees, we'll have to have workers in order to get the work done. So in order to understand management, management can be understood in 2 ways, from 2 points of view. 1, people's point of view. Number 2, functional point of view. So let's try to understand people's view. What do you understand by the word people's view? Whenever we talk about management, management is considered to be a key group of people, means the top management, all the CEOs, CFOs, chairmen, board of directors, senior executives, those are considered to be part of the management team. So what are they called? They are called as management. So management is a key group of people who is in charge of the affairs of the business. They are responsible for the business, right? They are there to run the business. So what do they do? In organization, we have all the resources, but they are scattered at different places. We have money in our bank account, but we don't have raw material at our factory. We have money in our bank account, we have raw material, but we don't have workers to work. We have money, we have raw material, we have workers, but we don't have machines. In all these scenarios, one thing or the other is missing. So will we be able to produce the product and manufacture the product and deliver it to customers on timely basis? No. So who is going to take care of all this? Our management is going to take care of all this. So manager will try to arrange all the resources in a timely manner. Whenever I say all the resources, I mean the money, the technology, material and human resource, that is manpower. So management will try to arrange for all these resources in a timely manner. So what are they doing? They are trying to integrate and organize all the disintegrated or disorganized resources. So they are trying to organize all these resources. So that is the job of the management. So again, what do you mean by management from person's perspective? It is a key group of people who is in charge of the affairs of the business. What do they do? Their job is to make the organization purposeful. How? By integrating and organizing all the resources of the organization. Okay. Now this sentence which I am about to say is very important for us to understand. The survival and success of any organization, the survival and success of any organization is dependent upon the character and competence of the management. Now, what do you mean by this sentence? It simply means that if your management is honest and if your management is capable, in initial years you will be able to survive all the competition. And after surviving for a few years, you will perform so well that you will be successful. So any organization's survival in the first few years or their success in the later years is due to the honesty, the integrity, due to the capabilities of the management. So if the management is not honest, if the management is not having the required capabilities, will the organization survive? Will the organization be successful? No. So that is why the last sentence is important. Right? So this was first part, that is people's view. Now let's try to understand the person's view, functional view. We understood the people's view, now let's try to understand the Functional view. What do you mean by functional view? Management is also considered to be a process, interrelated process. Interrelated process of 5 things. You might have studied this in your +2. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. I'll give you one example. Let's say you want to start with your real estate business. You want to start your own construction business. First of all, before you start any business, what you will do? You will plan, right? What sort of builder you want to be. Whether you want to develop commercial projects, whether you want to undertake residential projects, whether you want to do governmental projects, you want to build dam, you want to build bridges, what sort of construction you want to do, right? Suppose you want to start with your commercial project. You want to start with your commercial real estate construction. So for that, what you need? You need a good location wherein corporate offices can be situated. So what you are doing? You are planning. So once you have planned, I want to enter into commercial real estate business. I will be constructing commercial complexes. Then what you will do? You will try to organize all your resources. Yes or no? Yes, you will try to organize all your resources. And again, what do you mean by resources? Money, manpower, machine, material. So you will organize all your resources. You will try to arrange for funds. You will try to hire people, recruit people. You will try to look after the materials required. You will look after what sort of technology you will be needing. So what is this? Organizing. So you have planned, you have organized, you have prepared a list of resources that you will be requiring. Then the third is staffing. What do you mean by staffing? Hiring people, recruiting people, hiring the right person for the right job. That is staffing. How many skilled workers will be required? How many semi-skilled workers will be required? How many unskilled workers will be required? That is done in staffing. And after we have done staffing, what we will do? We will give them directions. That is directing. We will tell them what is to be done, in how much time you will do this, how much materials will be required, what is the deadline for this project, etc., etc. Right? And after that, once you have given them directions, what you will try to do? Leave them like this? No. What you will do? You will keep a check on them. You will, on a continuous basis, you will evaluate their performance. Whether the work is being done correctly or not. If the work is done correctly, keep up the good work. But if the work is not done correctly, try to find out what else can we do, how we can make this good, right? So this was your management. Again, just to quickly revise, what do you mean by management? Management can be understood in 2 ways, from people's view, from functional view. People's view, in charge of the affairs of the business. Key group of people who are in charge of the affair of the business. What do? They take care of the business. How? By integrating and organizing all the resources at one place. The survival and success of any organization is dependent on the character and competence of the management. Very correct. And what about the next part? Functional view. It is a set of interrelated processes or functions performed by the managers. Why do they perform these activities? To achieve organizational objectives. Great. So let's mark this. Management. To understand the concept of management, we need to have a basic understanding of the term management. Right? Okay. So what is management? It can be understood in 2 ways. People's view, that is a key group in an organization in charge of the affairs. So what do? Their task is of making the organization a purposeful and productive entity. And how will they do it? By undertaking the task of bringing together and integrating the disorganized resources. So all the resources are scattered. Our job is to integrate and collect everything. The survival and success of an organization will depend on the character and competence of the management. So if you want to check whether that organization is doing well or is not doing well, just check the management. how good is the management. If that management is honest, if that management is capable, the business will do well. So this was your first point. Second point, functional view. The term management is used with a set of interrelated functions and processes carried out by the management of an organization to attain its objective. So it is a set of interrelated processes or functions which is performed by the managers. Why? To achieve organizational objectives. And these are the 5 functions. Okay. So this was management. Now the next part, strategy. What do you mean by strategy? Strategy is derived from a Greek word, strategos, which means generalship and ways to win over an enemy. What sort of planning I should do, what sort of moves I should make so that I can defeat my enemy. In earlier times, people used to have turf war. People used to declare war against the enemy in order to get hold of their resources. Because one particular country was rich in minerals, rich in resources. So the other country did not have those resources. So the other country used to declare war on the other country. So in earlier times, people used to make strategies. Why they used to make strategy? Because they wanted to win the war. So that is why it is an ancient word. It is an old word which is derived from a Greek word, strategos, which means generalship and ways to win over an enemy. How can I defeat my enemy? What sort of action plan I should make so that I can defeat my enemy? So, in today's time, why this word is relevant? In today's world, there is nothing called as turf war, but there is something called as business war. Competitors are fighting for the same customer. Customer one, but we have many competitors selling the same product. Suppose you want to buy a car. Do we have only one company who's selling cars? No, there are 5 to 6 companies. Everyone is good. So everyone, you cannot buy all the cars, right? You'll have to buy only one car. You have to pick and choose. So what will the car selling companies do? Car manufacturing companies do? They'll try to advertise, they'll try to promote their own product. So every company who's in the same business, going after the same customer, what they will do? They will come up with a strategy. So in today's world, there is no physical war, but there is a business war. Everybody is fighting for the same customer. The environment in which we operate is very complex. It is very unfriendly. You never know what sort of strategy competitors will come up with. So you'll have to be prepared. So this is your strategy. The term strategy has been derived from a Greek word strategos, which means generalship. Business today is like fighting a war, and businessmen will have to respond to dynamic and hostile environment. Every businessman makes use of strategies to face the tricks of the enemy. Now we need to understand few definitions of strategy. Until and unless you understand the definition of strategy, you will not be able to understand the characteristics of strategy. So that is why you need to understand the definition. Okay? So the first definition. The first definition of strategy is very simple, basic. Strategy is defined as a long-range blueprint. So whenever we are planning, whenever we are making any strategy, do we have short-term vision in our minds? No. We think about long-term. Like all car manufacturing companies have now started their R&D in electric vehicles. Don't you think so? Why they are doing this? Can you think why they are doing this? Because everybody knows in 10 years time, 15 years time, people will not be buying petrol operated car. They will not be buying diesel operated cars. What they'll be buying? They'll be buying battery operated cars, that is electric vehicles. So companies have started planning for electric vehicles. Already R&D is going on for few companies, designing stage is going on for few companies, even few companies have started active production of electric vehicles, right? So now you tell me, long range blueprint, if you see while constructing a house, will you directly construct the house? No, first you will plan it on a piece of paper. That piece of paper planning is called as blueprint. You will go to the authorities, you will go to the officials, you will take the permissions. So this is my outlay. This is where I'll have my bedroom. This is the way. This is where I'll have my kitchen. This is the place where I'll have my hall. You will give them the layout. Then they will approve. Okay, approved. Then you will go ahead and construct the house. Similarly, before we do anything else, we will first plan. How are we going to do this? In a conference room, all the top management officials will be sitting and they'll be discussing. They'll be preparing a blueprint. So what is strategy? Strategy is a long range blueprint, long vision blueprint of an organization's 3D. Desired, image, direction, destination. Right? Okay. Next definition. According to William F. Gluck, strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objective of the organization is achieved. So we have three definitions here. The first one, strategy may be defined as a long-range blueprint of an organization's image, direction and destination. Third definition, according to William F. Gluck, unified, comprehensive, integrated plan. So a strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan designed means prepared, made to assure that the basic objective of the enterprise is achieved. Next, the second definition which I skipped, I'll teach you now. Strategy is a game plan used by the management to do 5 things. To achieve market position, to conduct operations, to attract and satisfy the customers, to compete successfully, and to achieve organizational objectives. So we will make strategy so that we can fulfill these 5 objectives. Number 1, what was the first point? To achieve our market position. How good we are to take market position. To establish a name for ourselves. Once we establish our names for ourselves, we'll try to conduct our operations, carry out our business activities, try to sell our products to the customer. Thereafter, we will try to attract and satisfy the customers. If the customer is buying the product for the first time, we will try to attract them with good packaging, good advertising, good marketing. But if he is a repeat customer, when will a customer come to you again? If he or she is happy with your product. So first you will try to attract and then satisfy the customer. Compete successfully and achieve organizational objective. So this was your definition of strategy. Now this definition will help us understand the characteristics of strategy. Now what are the characteristics of strategy? The first characteristic is forward looking. As per the first definition, if you remember, it is a long range blueprint, right? So long range blueprint means forward looking. We prepare strategy not for today but for future years, that is in the coming years. It is designed to move from the current position to the desired future position. So if you want to increase your market share, if you want to increase your revenues, so if you are standing at, let's say, 100 crore rupees of revenue, sales, you want to increase this by 20%. So how will you be able to improve? So from 100 to 120, how will you reach? Without any strategy, will you be able to reach? Without any plans, without any action plans, will you be able to reach? No. So from here to here, who will help you bridge the gap? Your strategy will help you bridge the gap. So first point was forward looking. Second point is designed to move from your current position to the desired future position. Strategy is always pragmatic and flexible. What do you mean by pragmatic? Pragmatic means practical. Something which we can do. We will not build castles in the air, right? Something which we can achieve, something which we can do, we will plan accordingly. Now, you tell me honestly, there are two operating systems, right? One which is made by Apple, their own iOS, and one which is owned by Google, Android. Now, Samsung wants to make their own operating system. They can, nobody is stopping them, but do you think it will be cost effective for them? No. So, should they go for this? No. Why? Because it is not strategically correct. It is not strategically practical. Even if they make their own operating system, it will cost them a lot. Will they be able to absorb that cost into the selling price? As you know, every cost is to be recovered from customer. Will they be able to? No. So what's the point of, doing this? So strategy should be pragmatic and flexible. Pragmatic means practical, something which you can achieve. You should make those strategies. Flexible. What do you understand by flexible? In simple language, flexible means something which you can change. As you know, the environment is very uncertain, very hostile, very dynamic. It changes, right? So you should be able to change your strategy depending upon your situation. You should be able to adapt. So this was your pragmatic and flexible. Guys, we will discuss this at a greater length separately because it is a separate question altogether. Your strategy should be a blend of, should be a mixture of proactive and reactive. So we have a question. I purposely left it. We will discuss this in a while. So strategy should be a combination of two things, proactive and reactive. What do you mean by proactive? What do you mean by reactive? If in one sentence I can tell you, proactive means planning in advance. Proactive means planning in advance. And reactive means reacting to the changes in the environment. So now you tell me, can an organization be always proactive? No. Should the organization be reactive? No. It should be combination, blend of proactive and reactive. We will discuss this in a greater length in a minute or two. Next. Strategy is not a substitute. It is not a substitute for sound, alert and responsible management. What do you mean by this? You have a strategy and now since you have a strategy, you will ask your management to leave the organization. You will ask them to go away. Do you think you will be able to do well without management? Just because you have a strategy, will you be able to do well? No. In fact, management is required to help you implement your strategy. You may have a strategy, but how will you execute that strategy? A good execution is also required. Who will give you, who will help you in this execution? Your management. So just because you have a strategy, it doesn't mean that you don't require management. You require management. So strategy is not a substitute for sound, alert and responsible management. Strategy can never be perfect, flawless and optimal. Your strategy, nobody is God here. Nobody can guarantee you that whatever I have said, whatever I have framed as my strategy is foolproof, 100% correct. It will give you results 100%. Can anyone say this? No. How can you say this? What if customers' tastes and preferences change? What if a competitor comes in the market? What if government changes some rules and regulations? So can you claim that your strategy is perfect? It does not have any flaws? Can you claim that? Nobody can claim that, right? So strategy can never be perfect, flawless or optimal. Strategy is not a magic or a bundle of tricks. So whenever you are framing a strategy, formulating a strategy, you need to evaluate, you need to critically think. It is not a shortcut. It is not something which you just, find it from thin air. Right? You'll have to work hard. You'll have to analyze the environment. You'll have to see the strength and weakness of the organization. You'll have to evaluate the external environment and to find out opportunity and threats. And after that, you can come up with a strategy. So it is something which is not a bundle of trick or magic. Last point, application of strategy. The strategies can be used by big organizations, large organizations. Strategy can also be used by small organizations. Strategy can be used by profit-making organizations. Strategies are also used by not-for-profit making organization. So this was your characteristics of strategy, guys. One question that I would like to discuss with you is strategy partly proactive, partly reactive. Do you agree? The answer is yes. Strategy can never be fully proactive, can never be fully reactive. It has to be combination of both. Again, I am telling you, strategy can never be fully proactive. It can never be fully reactive. It has to be combination of two. It has to be combination of two. So what do you mean by partly proactive and partly reactive? Strategy can be classified into two, proactive and reactive. In proactive, what we try to understand, we try to study the environment. We try to find out what are the future prospects. And depending on that, depending on our vision, depending on our strengths, depending on our opportunities that we have, we will formulate a strategy. So in proactive strategy, organization will analyze possible environmental scenarios and create a strategic framework after proper planning and set procedures and work on these strategies in a predetermined manner. Simple language, planning in advance. We will study the environment and we'll try to find out what will be the future prospects. So we are trying to find out, and depending on our findings, we are planning now for the future. That is proactive. In reality, but in real life, can you really actually predict what will happen in future? Can anybody play God here? Nobody plays God here. No company can forecast both internal and external environment. Everything cannot be planned in advance. Always remember this. You cannot plan everything in advance. So it is not possible to anticipate the moves of the rival firms. You don't know, na? What will the competitor do? What will the customer's tastes and preferences change? Can you control that? No. Evolving technologies and so on. So there can be a significant deviation between what was visualized and what actually happened. So there can be a difference, what you thought and what actually happened. So you'll have to change your strategy, right? Yes, that is called as reactive strategy. Strategies need to be modified in the light of the environmental changes. There can be significant or major strategic changes when the environment demands. It is based on unanticipated events, such as competitor strategy, market changes, required changes in planned strategies known as reactive strategy. So if a competitor changes its prices, we'll have to react. If the government introduces some new rules, we'll have to change our strategy accordingly. Customers' tastes and preferences change, we'll have to change our products so that we can match our customers' tastes and preferences. So what are we doing? We are reacting to the changes that is happening around us. Reactive strategy is triggered by the changes in the environment and provides ways and means to cope with the negative factors to take advantage of the emerging opportunity. Hence, strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. I hope you have understood this. So up to this point, we have studied what is management. We have also studied what is strategy. Now let's try to understand what is strategic management. It is nothing but combination of the two things, strategy and management. So what is strategic management? The first things first that you should know is it is a managerial process. It is a managerial process. So strategic management is a managerial process of 5 things. First, developing a strategic vision. What do you mean by strategic vision? It is the aim, goal, long-term goal, the ultimate goal. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now? That is my vision. I want to be the most preferred car manufacturing company of India. That is my vision. Right? So that is vision. First things first, you will have to develop a strategic vision. What sort of company we wish to become in future, 20 years from now, 15 years from now. So, strategic management is a managerial process of number 1, developing a strategic vision. Once you have developed where you want to go, you'll have to set your targets. You'll have to set your objectives. How will we be reaching there? If I say I want to be the most preferred car manufacturing company, just by saying it, will I become the most preferred car manufacturing company? No. I'll have to work towards it. And by working towards it, I'll have to set smaller targets. I'll have to set my objectives. 3-year objective, 5 years objectives, so that I can reach there in 20 years time. Maybe I'll be the most preferred car manufacturing company. But it always starts with a small step. So the first point was to develop a strategic vision. Number 2, setting objectives. Number 3, crafting of strategies. What do you mean by crafting of strategies? Formulating the strategies. Depending on the situation, you will formulate different strategies. You will have multiple strategies at your disposal. Right? So you will formulate strategies or you will craft strategies. Next, implementation and evaluation of strategy. Once you have formulated the strategy, crafted the strategy, it has to be implemented. It has to be implemented. And last, what do you mean by implementation? Execution. Whatever you had planned, now you are actually working towards it. You are putting your plans into action. And last point, initiating corrective adjustments wherever deemed appropriate. So wherever required, you are taking corrective actions. You are taking corrective actions. So these were the 5 points. Number 1, developing a strategic vision. Number 2, setting objectives. Number 3, crafting of strategy. Number 4, implementing and evaluation of strategy. Number 5, initiating corrective adjustments wherever required. So now we have 3 questions that I need you to study. Number 1, objectives of strategic management, need, importance, benefit of strategic management, and limitations of strategic management. Why do we need strategic management? Ask yourself that question. Why do we need strategic management? We need strategic management for 2 reasons. Number 1, to create competitive advantage so that we can outperform our competitors and dominate the market. Now, what do you mean by competitive advantage? It means we have something better than our competitors. That's why customers come to us and they don't go to the competitors. That is called as competitive advantage. Next, second point. Strategic management guides us. It guides us during the changes in the environment. So if there is a change in the environment, strategic management will help us, will guide us through the changes. Through the changes, strategic management will guide us. Right? So these 2 were my objectives. So if in the examination they ask you objectives, write the definition of strategic management first. Okay? So what are the need, importance and benefit of strategic management? But before we do that, let's mark what is the objective. What are the objectives? To create competitive advantage so that the company can outperform the competitors and dominate the market. To guide the company through the changes in the environment. Now, Need, importance, benefits of strategic management. First point, it gives direction to the company. Strategic management gives direction to the company. It makes them proactive instead of reactive. It gives us framework for all major decisions, which products to launch, which geographical locations we should start our new business, what technology should we pursue, what sort of distribution channel we should have. So these are the decisions that help us. Strategic management helps us take these decisions. It prepares the organization for the future, so it helps us become futuristic. It also helps the organization defend itself and avoid making costly mistakes. So it helps us as a corporate defense mechanism. Avoid costly mistake, that is corporate defense mechanism. If you use strategic management, your business will continue for years to come. So if you are using strategic management, you have ensured that you will have a long-lasting business. Helps to enhance the longevity of the business. And strategic management also helps you to develop the core competency and competitive advantage. Now, I have told you about competitive advantage, an edge over your rivals. Now, what do you mean by core competence? Core competence in simple language means something which you possess and your competitors don't possess. Something which you have, your competitors don't have. That is called as core competencies. So strategic management helps to develop core competency and competitive advantage. Now, what are the disadvantages? We have four small disadvantages. Number one, the environment in which we are operating, the environment in which we are trying to use strategic management is highly turbulent and complex. The environment in which the business operates, it's very confusing, it's very complex, difficult to understand, and it is very unstable. So in these scenarios, strategic management may fail. So the environment is complex and turbulent, and it is difficult to understand the complex environment and exactly pinpoint how it will shape up in future. What will happen in future, it is very difficult to say. Right? Next point. Strategic management is a costly process. Again, you'll have to hire consultants, you'll have to hire experts who will analyze the environment, internal and external, and depending on that, they will frame some strategies and they'll help you implement those strategies. So strategic management again is a very costly process. On top of it, it is a time-consuming process. What do you mean by time-consuming process? Do you think we'll be able to decide in one day whether there is an opportunity in the environment or there is a threat? Whether in one day we'll be able to come up with a new strategy? No, it requires weeks and months of hard work and efforts. Then only we can find out. So it is a time-consuming process, it is a costly process. And more importantly, am I the only organization who's using strategic management? No, even the competitors are using strategic management. So they are also using strategic management. I am also using strategic management. Sometimes it may so happen that they are using it in a better way. So I don't know how to respond to such strategic management moves. So in competitive scenario, it is difficult to estimate the competitive responses. So this was strategic management. We had 4 sub questions in this: the need, importance, benefit, limitations, objectives, definition. I hope you will remember all this. Moving on to the next part, the different strategic levels in an organization. If you remember, in your childhood days, you studied levels of management. We had 3 levels of management: top level, middle level, lower level. So now in strategic management, we have 3 strategic levels. The top level management in strategic levels of management will be called as corporate level. The middle level will be called as business level. The lower level will be called as a functional level. So here we have 3 levels of management. Which are those? Corporate level, business level, functional level. Who all are part of corporate level team? The chairman, the CEO, board of directors and other senior executives of the organization will form part of corporate level team. So those are called as corporate level managers. Second, if I am into multiple businesses or if I am into multiple products, it is very difficult for the corporate level managers to look after all the businesses. So what they will do? They will appoint individual managers to take care of that particular business or that particular division. So if a company like ITC, who's having multiple businesses, so do you think corporate level managers will be able to take decisions for all the businesses in one go? No, it is very difficult for them to manage this. So what they will do? They have created individual businesses, and for those they have business level managers. So now business level managers are responsible for a particular business. So those are called as business level managers, divisional managers, general managers. They are responsible for the business. What do they do? Whatever the directions given by the corporate level, their job will be to execute those, to convert the general plan given by the top management into some concrete action plan. Whatever is the corporate objective, the business level manager will try to convert this into their business objective. So general plan into some concrete action plan. Next, they are responsible for the business. If the business makes profit, they will be awarded. If the business does not perform well, they will be asked questions. Why the business was not able to perform well? What were the reasons? The third one, functional level managers. Functional level managers are responsible for a specific function in an organization. For example, ITC having 12 different businesses, 16 different businesses. So if they are having 16 different businesses, we will have one specific business manager for one specific business. In that, they will be having various departments. Marketing can be a department, finance can be a department, HR can be a department, operations or production can be a department. So in order to take care of that particular department, we'll be hiring some managers. And those managers are called as functional managers. So, in order to take care of marketing function, we hire marketing managers. In order to take care of HR function, HR department, we will be hiring HR managers. So, what do? They are responsible for a specific function of an organization. So, ITC Hotel is a business, right? So, the HR manager of ITC Hotels will be responsible for the HR related functions, human resource related functions of ITC business, ITC Hotels. They will not be worried about any other function. They will not be worried about any other business. Their job is only specific function of that organization. Hiring, recruiting, training, performance appraisal, all these will be their job role, their job profile. But they will not be responsible for other businesses. So generally, institute will ask you, discuss the various strategic levels in an organization. So in that scenario, what you'll have to write? You'll have to write the different levels. Who all are included in those levels? What are their job and responsibility? So let's start. 3 levels: corporate level, business level, functional level. Corporate level will include chairman, CEO, board of directors, senior executives. What is their role and responsibility? First, they are responsible for the overall development of strategies for the whole organization. So the chairman, the CEO and other senior executives of ITC will be responsible for the strategies for ITC as a whole, right? Then second, deciding what businesses we should be in, which businesses we should do, which industry should we enter into, what businesses we should do. Number 3, defining the mission and goals of the organization. What will be our mission? What will be our goals? That is our job. Whose job? Corporate level. Fourth, allocating the resources. If we are planning to expand our business operations, if planning to start up a new business, it will require resources. If we want to increase sales of a particular business, we'll have to give them more marketing, more money for marketing, more money for production. So depending on your vision, depending upon your mission, depending upon what businesses you should be doing, you will allocate resources. Last, providing leadership to the organization. All the employees will look up to the leaders, will look up to the managers, how they are performing, how they are behaving, how they are working. So top level management, corporate level managers will provide leadership to the organization. So these are the 5 roles and responsibility of corporate level managers. Business level managers. Business level managers, what will business level managers do? First of all, who are included in business level managers? A person who is in charge of a particular business or division is called as business level manager or a divisional manager. They have 2 roles. Number 1, to convert the corporate goals, corporate objectives, general objectives given by the corporate level management into concrete action plan. And number 2, they are responsible for the performance of business. They are responsible for performance of the business. Coming to the third point, functional level managers. Functional level managers are managers who are responsible for a specific function in the organization. So if I talk about marketing department or HR department or finance department of one particular business, so those are called as functional level managers, departmental managers. They are responsible for their specific function. They, along with the business managers, discuss, plan as to how we can achieve our corporate goals and objectives. So if the top management wants to increase their revenue, it is the functional level managers along with business level managers who will plan. In order to increase the sales, we'll have to increase the production, we'll have to increase the purchase, we'll have to hire more number of people, we'll have to allocate more budget, we'll have to increase the marketing. So these are all interrelated. Everything done properly will help us achieve our organizational objectives. So these are your functional level managers and their roles and responsibilities. So let's try to understand this. Strategic levels in an organization. A typical large organization is multi-divisional organization that compete in several different businesses, multi-divisional or multi-business. It has a separate division to manage each of these. If you look at this pyramid, the first one is corporate level, business level, functional level, right? So now we'll talk about corporate level. It will consist of CEO, senior executive, board of directors and corporate staff. Their task, what will be their task? To oversee the development of strategy for the whole or entire, I am responsible for the entire organ. Chairman of ITC, the board of directors of ITC, the CEO of ITC will be responsible for the entire business, overall business. Set the vision, mission, goals, what businesses it should be in, allocation of resources, providing leadership. And this point is connected to this point. Formulating the strategy and implementing the strategy that span individual businesses. What do you mean by span? That covers the entire individual businesses. So I will make such plans, I will formulate such plans, I will formulate such strategies, implement such strategies that will cover the entire organization. So this was your corporate level. I hope you understood this. Business level, it will consist of general managers, divisional managers. What do they do? What is their role? To translate the general statement into concrete strategy for their individual business. The strategic role of business level manager or head of division is to translate the general statement of direction and intent that come from the corporate level into concrete strategy for individual businesses. So whatever we have planned at the top management, that is a rough blueprint. We want to increase the sales by 5%. That is something which is said by the top management. We want to increase our profits by this percent. How will we do so for our business? Right? If I am having 12 different businesses, chairman and other senior executives have given us that we want to increase our revenue, we want to increase our profits, we want to reduce our cost. How will we do so? How each business will do? So that is answered by business level manager. They will be responsible for this. And the development of strategy for individual business areas to support the corporate strategy. Functional level strategy. As I told you, functional level strategy means departmental managers like finance manager, HR managers, marketing manager, production manager. We can have lots of departments. So all departmental managers are called as functional managers. Responsible for specific business functions or operations. And these are the examples. Okay. What do they do? To develop a functional strategy in their area that will help fulfill the strategic objectives set by the business and corporate and general level managers. So whatever target is set by the business manager, whatever is the corporate goals, how will we be able to achieve that? Functional managers provide most of the information to formulate realistic and attainable strategy. So our top management will tell us we need to increase our revenue. We need to reduce the cost. We need to increase our profits. Business level managers will guide what products we should make, what sort of market we should enter into. Functional manager will tell us what should be your strategy. Production manager will tell you how much should we produce. Marketing manager will tell us how should we market our products, how should we advertise, how should we promote our products. Sales team will tell us how to go about selling more to the same customers. So these are the strategic levels in an organization. This brings us to the next part, guys. I hope you are revising with me. Please continue to revise with me. It will help you during your exam times. Okay, so please continue watching. Next point, strategic management in non-for-profit organization. Now, what do you mean by non-profit organization? And firstly, think, do we require strategic management in non-for-profit organization? Do we or we don't require? Think. Yes, we do require strategic management in non-for-profit organizations also. Now you should ask me, why do we require? I'll tell you, I have answers to all your questions. Just be patient with me. I'll answer all your questions. First, any profit-making entity will have some vision, will have some dream. Similarly, even NGOs and non-for-profit organizations have some dream. The dream may not be to earn money. The vision may be to earn respect. The vision may be to serve the society at large. I want every kid who's born in India deserves to be educated. So I want every kid to get at least formal education so that they don't beg. Why people beg? Because they did not have any opportunity. They were not studying. So if I am educating the masses, if I am teaching the underprivileged kids, they will not beg. So what I do, I approach the parents of those beggars, street beggars, and I tell them, please send your kids to our school. We will not charge any money. Instead, we will give them clothes, we will give them books, we will give them stationery, we will give them 2-time meal. We will educate them. but please send your kids to our school. Now you tell me, will they send their kids to school? The answer is yes. Are we collecting any money from those beggars? No. But don't you think so? It is creating a difference in the lives of those beggars. If their kids get educated, will they ever beg? No. So, am I doing this for money? No. I am doing this as a charity for a social cause. Right? Perfect. So, what is my vision? My vision is that every kid who is born in India should be educated. Education is something which should be for free. Everybody deserves a right to education. So, am I doing this for money? No. But do I have a vision? Yes. So, that is the first reason as to why you should have a vision. So, vision is required in profit-making organization and also in non-for-profit organization. Yes or no? Yes. Now, you tell me, in business organizations, all the resources are utilized effectively, efficiently, right? They don't waste their resources. Don't you think so? It is equally applicable to non-for-profit organization. Yes. So SM is required here because we want to utilize our resources effectively and efficiently. We don't want our resources to be wasted. If we want funding for business organizations, it is very easy to arrange money. We can approach banks. Banks are ready to finance the companies who are doing business. People will also invest money into the business. But it is very difficult for a non-profit organization to arrange for money. They are always dependent on government's support, individuals' support in form of donation, government's support in form of donation. Tell me, will you give money to anyone who comes and asks for? No, you will verify whether that person is genuine or not. So how will we prove whether we are genuine or not? We will prove it through our actions, and that actions can be performed only with the help of strategic management. If I come to your house and I tell you, please donate something, we are doing something for underprivileged kids. Will you give money to me? No, first you will verify who is he, what work he does, or otherwise he is a fraud. You will ask me few questions, right? But I will show you my brochure. I will show you the infrastructure. I will show you the kids actually studying there. I have a video wherein the students are studying, the teacher is teaching, we are giving them lunch, not for promotion, but for the betterment of the society, so that you believe in me, that I am doing something for the society at large. So please support me. And this can be done only through SM. So these are the reasons why strategic management is required in non-for-profit organization. Institute has been asking these sort of questions lately. So we need to study 3 specific questions, guys. First, strategic management in educational institution, strategic management in medical organizations, hospitals, and third, use of strategic management in governmental departments, offices of government, government banks, government organizations, etc. So we need to study these 3 questions specifically. So let's try to understand each one by one. Strategic management in educational institution. Why do you think strategic management is required in educational institution? The answer is very simple. I'll give you one example. If you think about that institution, you will automatically be able to write the answer. So I'll give you a way, no problems. But before you write the answer, you need to introduce your topic to the paper checker. Paper checker will be looking for these points also. So you need to introduce your answer in such a way that he is hooked to your answer. He wants to check your answer. So how will you do so? You will have to give them a good, proper introduction. So I'm discussing few points with you. Just repeat after me, okay? First, education is a noble profession. Since it is a noble profession, it is managed by trusts and societies. If it is managed by trusts and societies, it is not for profit. The objective behind this is not to make money, but to serve the society at large, to give proper formal education to the students, participants. So education is a noble profession. It is managed by trust and society. It is not for profit making organization. But however, lately even private players are entering into this, making it more competitive. Even private schools have started opening up, private colleges, private universities have started opening up. So there is a competition which is gradually increasing, gradually rising. So now we have introduced this. This is telling us that yes, strategic management is important in educational. We can add further. Now online degrees have also become prevalent. There are colleges in which you are given option to attend lectures online, get certifications online, and it has started replacing the formal education that we used to have for over the years. People have started attending online lectures and they have specific time given, allotted in order to resolve their doubts. All the queries will be answered during this window. They've been given the time frame. So all this is happening in the education industry. So don't you think so? All the schools, colleges or institutes, universities must look after this. Yes, even Google has started their certification course. In 9 to 12 months, complete that certification. You will be job ready. It is not applicable in India, but in North American countries, US, Canada, that certification is very important. People have stopped going to colleges. They have stopped doing their graduations. They are now going for this certification. Now, which is a difficult time for those institutions which are having formal education. What if a student decides to do this 1 year ka course instead of 4 years ka formal education, and they are job ready? Google advertises it. You will be job ready after you complete this course. You will get certification from Google. 120 to 130 companies have vouched for this. So it is a threat for the traditional formal system education. So now I am starting with the answer. Whenever you are planning to write this answer, now think about IIMs. Think about our institute. And you will be able to answer this question. Tell me, if you plan to do MBA after your chartered accountancy, will you be doing from any institute or you will be choosing an elite institute? Very good, an elite, right? Top notch. So everybody who plans to do MBA wants to do MBA from IIMs, Indian Institute of Management. Why they want to do their MBA from IIMs? Why? If you can understand the why, you will be able to write this answer. So one of the reasons why, because they have got a good reputation. So now you are not a student, you are the managing committee members of that particular institute. And think, why do we need strategic management in our institute? Firstly, to develop a name and recognition of our institute. In order to develop our name and recognition of the institute, we will require strategic management. That is the first point. To develop the name and recognition of the institute, we require strategic management. Number 2, once we have got the fame, recognition, name, number 2, we will attract talented students. If you have observed, the cutoff for these institutes, very high. Filtered crowd. They will only take students who are academically brilliant as well as they are good in co-curricular activities. So they will take admissions only for those students who are talented. So the first point was to get name and recognition. Number 2, to attract talented students. Number 3, to design a curriculum which will suit the needs of the current times. Why IIMs are so popular? Because they give practical training. They discuss real life scenarios. So if we want to talk about startups, Ritesh Agarwal of OYO will come to IIMs and will deliver lecture on startups. If we want to talk about leadership, Mahendra Singh Dhoni will come and talk about leadership because he is the only Indian captain to have won 3 international trophies for India. So these are the level of education that is imparted there. So designing a curriculum which will suit the needs of the current times. Number 4, hiring and retaining a good faculty, good team of faculty. You have developed a name, you have good talented students, you have a good curriculum, but you also require good team of teachers, professors, experienced professors, so that they can give good quality education, they can impart good quality education to the student at large, right? More importantly, you have to hire good quality faculty and retain good quality faculty. You should try to retain your faculty with yourselves, otherwise they will leave you. And last, you should develop the interpersonal skills of the students, so that whenever they are working in corporate world, they will be able to perform well, excel in their careers. So these are the 5 main points of strategic management in educational institution. So let's try to revise whatever I studied. Education is noble profession, since it is not for profit making organization like school, colleges, trust. Not many people have entered into this industry, but however, with the changing times, even private schools, private colleges, private institutes have started opening up. There is a change in the way the lectures is delivered nowadays. Online lectures are becoming more prevalent these days. People are preferring to study online rather than studying on campus. With this, even the strategic management is required in educational institutions. Strategic management will be useful in 5 different ways. Name recognition. Number 2, attracting talented kids. Number 3, designing a curriculum in a way which suits the needs of the current times. Number 4, attracting and retaining the good quality faculties or professors. Number 5, capacity building, right? So let's read this, guys, first, then we will discuss medical organization and governmental organization. Now I'm discussing this part first, okay? Strategic management for non-for-profit organization. Even non-for-profit organizations have vision, mission, objectives. Even they want to utilize their resources optimally. Even they want to achieve their objectives. Their objective may not be to earn profits. Their objective can be to serve the society at large. My objective is to teach 100 kids in a year. Will I be able to do so? I may be able to do so with the help of you all. They also need to have funds and other resources just like any other organization. And NGOs are dependent on outside financing. So strategic management will help us in arranging for those funds. Next question, strategic management in educational institution. Noble profession, managed by trust, include schools, colleges and universities. All these sentences were discussed with you, right? It is not for profit organization. Being inherently non-commercial, because it is not for profit, they do not have competition. Now I am changing my words. However, as the institutions belonging to both public and private sectors are increasing, since the number of private schools, private universities, private colleges have started opening up, the competition is also increasing, right? The educational delivery system has undergone change with the introduction of computers and internet. So computer as well as the internet both have resulted into the entire shift of education system. The first all internet law school in US, that is Concord Law School, nearly 200 students who can access lectures anytime and chat at fixed time with professors. So this is again an example wherein online studies are now more prevalent. Online college degrees are becoming common and represent a threat to the traditional colleges. Just like certification course from Google. Do 1 year certification, not any certification. Google is giving you a certification, so it has a value. Through the use of, this is your main answer, by the way. Through the use of strategic management techniques, Institutions are expected to concentrate attention towards number 1, getting better name and recognition, number 2, attracting the talented students, number 3, designing a curriculum to provide better citizen and ensure employability, appointing and retaining quality faculty, number 4, preparing the students for capacity building, developing their interpersonal skills, developing their skills in which they'll be beneficial as a leadership role. Now the next point, strategic management in medical institutions. First of all, in earlier times where medicines were not developed, people used to visit hospitals quite often. Why? Because there was not much of an advancement in our research as regards to medicines, as regards to the diseases. So people used to visit hospitals regularly. But now, since the medicines have come up for all the diseases, people have been cured very quickly. So if a person is having diabetes, in earlier times they had to take medicines all throughout their life. They had no other option. But now there are medicines. If you follow the diet, if you follow the medicines, if you take the medicines prescriptions regularly, you can reverse the diabetes. So due to such advancements, even hospitals and medical organizations have to think about using strategic management. So how they are using strategic management? In earlier times, we used to go to hospitals. Now hospitals come to us. We used to go to pathological laboratories to get our blood tested. Now pathological lab comes to us and takes our blood samples. Right? So these are the change. With the introduction of computers, with the introduction of internet, the entire medical institution or the entire way of doing business has also changed. People do online research. If I am suffering from some disease, I will consult a doctor. I should take second opinion. But before that, I will just go through Google to find out what is the disease, what are the symptoms, what are the cure, how can I get cured. So with the introduction of internet, the entire landscape is changing. So the hospital as well as the doctor as well as the patient, they have a very huge responsibility of discussing the medical treatment with the patient. In earlier times, whatever the doctor used to tell me, I used to believe them. I used to take second opinion from the other doctor. But now I will take the first opinion from one doctor, I will do some my own research, and then I will take the opinion of the second doctor. Is it advisable to do so? No. But people are still doing it. Why they are doing this? Because of internet. So that is a major shift. People need to be aware that a professional, a medical professional will be able to give you proper advice, will be able to guide you in a good manner. A Google search will not be able to solve all your problems. You need to consult someone who is an expert, right? So all this comes under strategic management in medical institutions. First, because of the advancement of medicines, hospitals will have to come up with a new strategy because patients are getting cured quickly. So they need to come up with some sort of strategies. So they have started opening their own pharmacy. They have started doing their own tests, diagnostic labs. They have their own ambulatory services. So all this is done by hospitals. Why? Because they know if they don't diversify, if they don't extend their wings, they will not be able to perform well. So instead of they depending on some outside pharmacy store, they have opened their own pharmacy store in the hospital. Instead of some ambulance bringing the patient, we have our own ambulatory services. Instead of the patient's relative going out and eating, we have our own canteen facility wherein the relatives of the patients can eat in-house. So these are all strategies that we can come up. We have our own waste disposal services. So earlier, the patients used to come to us, to the hospital. Now, even hospitals are coming to the home of the patient. The only condition is that you should have a separate room. We will give you all the services that we give in hospital at your home, at your doorstep. But we will give you this on one condition, that the patient who is suffering should have a separate room so that the patient can rest. We will bring all our equipments to your home. We will give you 24-hour service of a nurse. We will give you online access to our doctors. But on one condition, that you have a separate room so that the patient can rest. So these are the strategies that they are coming up with. They are also trying to collaborate with all the family doctors and general practitioners, general physicians, so that they can refer them to their hospitals. So if you observe, you want to consult a doctor for any treatment, you go to your family doctor, they'll tell you, go to this doctor is good. Why do they do so? Because they have a collaboration, they have deepened collaboration with the physicians, general physicians. So those also required. They also go for backward integration. As I told you, they start ambulance services. They do their own testing, diagnostic labs. Earlier they never used to have. Now they have their own laboratory testing system. So these are the things that they have been doing. So let's discuss this. Strategic management in medical institutions. Modern hospitals are creating new strategies as advances in the diagnosis and treatment of chronic diseases are undercutting their earlier missions. Now the patients are getting cured quickly as compared to earlier times. So we need to think of other avenues. Hospitals are bringing the services to the patient as well as bringing the patient to the hospitals. Even the hospitals have started giving home care facility to the patients, as I told you. Pathological lab have started collecting door-to-door samples. If you see Metropolis, if you see Dr. Lal Path Lab, if you see Thyrocare, they have started collecting samples from your home. You give them a call, they will come at your doorstep, they will take all the samples and they will go. And within a day, you will get your report, email or physical copy. Chronic care. What do you mean by chronic care? Those diseases which will be requiring treatment for multiple years. So even chronic care will require day treatment facility, electronic monitoring at home. All these will be given to you at home. Need not worry. You don't come to hospital. We will come to you. User-friendly ambulatory services, decentralized laboratory testing. All this is given at home. A successful hospital strategy for the future will require renewed and deepened collaboration with physicians. Now we have started collaborating with the general practitioners, the family doctors, so that they can refer the patients to their hospital, right? Backward integration strategy for some hospitals include ambulance services, waste disposal services, diagnostic services. These are all backward integration strategies. The whole strategic landscape of healthcare is changing with the use of internet. How? Many people will research the medical ailments, the disease that they are having. They will do some online research. Because of this, there is a dramatic shift in the balance of power between the doctor, patient and hospitals. Now the patients are also aware. So we will not be relying on what the doctor says. We will also do some of our own research. So even the hospital needs to be transparent with the patient. The doctor will also have to be transparent. Intel has recently began offering a new medical service whereby the doctors and patients can conduct sensitive business on the internet, such as sharing results, medical tests and prescribing medicines. So bacho, I have listed here the top hospital strategies which are very famous in these times. So kindly have a read of this, okay? So these are the most popular hospital strategies that the hospital are currently following. They are providing standing outpatient surgery center, they are giving diagnostic services, they are giving physical rehabilitation centers. Earlier, there was not such thing, but now they have come up with these hospital strategies. Okay. Second last part, this is strategic management in governmental agencies and departments. This is the second last thing that we need to study in this chapter. After this, we will study business policy. If you remember, business policy is something which I haven't taught you up to this point. So, strategic management in governmental agencies and department. One question. Do you pay tax? Do you pay tax? The answer is yes. You pay tax, I pay tax, everybody pays tax. Everybody. You all will be paying taxes in form of GST. Few may be paying taxes in form of GST plus income tax, right? So any taxes that the government collects, any fines or penalties that the government collects, the government can be the state government, can be the central government, can be the local authorities, can be municipality, can be anyone. Any governmental authority collects any fines, penalties, taxes from you and me, local population, local citizens of the country. Why do they do so? For the development of nation. Building bridges, building roads, constructing dams, right? Developing an infrastructure for the future. So all these will require money, and that money will be recovered from whom? You and me, public at large. So all the government organizations, be it state government, central government, be it all government banks, be it LIC, all those organizations have a responsibility of utilizing the taxpayers' money in the most efficient way. All the money that we have paid in the form of taxes, in the form of penalties, in the form of fines should be utilized in a proper way, cost effective way. But there is one problem. Think the chairman of HDFC Bank and the chairman of SBI. One bank is a private bank and the other is a public sector bank. A bank which is partly owned by Government of India. Who will have more freedom? Which bank will have more freedom? The chairman of HDFC Bank or the chairman of SBI? Very good. HDFC Bank, since it is private in nature, they will have private bank. So they will have more powers. They will be having more freedom. They can do business in a way that suits them the best. But can Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, Central Bank of India, can they do business as they wish? No. They'll have to think about public at large. They'll have to look at the government's initiative, government's objective, and depending on those initiatives and objectives, they will frame their strategy. So, governmental organizations, governmental bodies will not have freedom. Even the strategist who is forming the strategy for the governmental bodies, governmental organization will not have freedom, will not have autonomy in making strategies. Why? Because governmental organization, governmental departments function to serve the society, not to make profits. Indian Railway is working not for making profits, but to give service to the population at large. That is why they will not increase the fare, railway fare. But if it is owned and operated by some private player, some private organization, don't you think so they will increase their fare because they want to make profits? Yes. So these are the reasons you need strategic management, because strategic management will help us, will help the governmental organization perform their duties in cost effective way. They'll be able to utilize the resources in effective and efficient manner. However, the strategists enjoy very little autonomy, very little freedom when it comes to strategy formulation. Many a times the organization is controlled by some politician or some political party, and the issues are regularly debated over TV. The issue becomes politicized. So we are not able to develop the governmental organization. During all these difficult times also, if the employees are given an opportunity to showcase their skills, showcase their talent, they get excited about this opportunity and they try to perform well. And last but not the least, even different government departments, different government offices require funding. So if we are using strategic management, the funds can be utilized in a better way. the government will allocate more money to that particular department. Why? Because that department utilized the money which was given to them in a very efficient and effective manner. So, in order to get more allocation of resources, you will require strategic management. So, let's read this, guys. Central government, state government, municipal authorities, public sector undertakings or departments are responsible for formulating, implementing and evaluating the strategies that use taxpayers' money in the most cost-effective way. You should use the taxpayers' money in a very judicious manner. Concepts are increasingly being used to enable some organizations to be more effective and efficient. The strategists operate in a less strategic autonomy. Autonomy means freedom, flexibility. They don't have much freedom. They cannot diversify into unrelated business. I gave you an example. HDFC chairman will have more freedom. They can do what they want to, but will the SBI chairman will have freedom? No. They enjoy little freedom in altering the organization's mission and objective. So, Indian Railways will not increase their fare. Why? Because their job is not to earn profits but to serve the society at large. So, Indian Railways will not hike the prices. Legislature and politicians have direct or indirect control over majority of the decisions and resources. Issues become politicized. They will have debate over television channels. This is right or this is not right. Ultimately, who will lose? Taxpayers' money is being wasted. But in governmental departments and agencies, people find that employees get excited about the opportunity to participate. The employees are happy that we are able to showcase our talent. So let's utilize this in showcasing our talent. So they get excited about this opportunity. In addition, government agencies are using strategic management approach to develop and substantiate the formal request for additional funding. So if a particular department wants more money, if you are using SM, the main government department, who is a branch, will give you more money. Why they will give you more money? Because you are utilizing the money in a very efficient manner. I hope you have understood this. This brings us to the last concept, guys, the last concept of our Chapter 1, that is business policy. Now, what do you mean by business policy? In simple terms, business policy means rules and regulations. What does business policy mean? Business policy means rules and regulations. Every organization will frame rules and regulations depending upon the nature of activity. If you might have observed, in few organizations, they will give you credit, they will not give you credit. So that is credit policy of that organization. In few organizations, they will give you discount, they will not give you discount. So that is discount policy. Once you become a chartered accountant, you will be hired by a multinational company. Therein, the first thing that you will go through is the HR policy. The HR will discuss with you the terms of your employment. They will tell you what will be your job role, what time you are expected to come, what sort of dress you should wear. Monday to Fridays, formal dress, formal uniform. Other days, what is the dress code? So they'll tell you what sort of work you will do. Everything will be given to you. So that is a policy, HR policy. Any organization, in order to be successful, they'll have to prepare good policies. If they don't have a policy in place, they will not be able to do well. Imagine you going to a shop, buying a product, and you ask for a discount. And that sales executive tells you, I'll have to ask my boss. He runs and goes to the manager and asks for discount. And the customer is waiting for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Will the customer wait? No. So all the policies are framed at the beginning, and it is framed by whom? The top management, the senior management. Recently, last year, many corporates framed one policy called as work from home policy, because they observed that the efficiency was declining. The employees were given work to perform at home, but because they were working from home, they were not able to perform up to the level of efficiency that they used to perform. So organizations came up with WFH policy, work from home policy. 9 o'clock you should log in, you should keep your webcam on. If you want a break, you should inform 30 minutes before. The team leader will approve whether you will be given a break or not. You should maintain a roster, time in, time out. Every week you will change your password and ID. All this is discussed in work from home policy. So let's discuss. Business policy is the guidelines developed by the organization to govern the action of those who are part of it. Business policy will define the scope within which the decisions may be taken by the subordinates. So business policy means all those rules and regulations that we will prepare as senior managers, and the subordinates and employees will have to follow those. Whether I should give discount or not, refer our discount policy. In discount policy terms, we have specifically mentioned if a customer buys products which are below 5 lakhs, no discount. 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 5% discount. If the sale is more than 10 lakh, 10% discount. So if you as a customer come to our shop and buy a product, and let's say the product value is 3 lakhs, and you come and ask for discount, what will I say? I am the sales executive of that organization. Sorry sir, sorry ma'am, no discount. Why? Because our policy states that discount will be given only to customers who buy items of more than 5 lakhs. Yes or no? Yes. So that is business policy. It started in the year 1911, where Harvard Business School introduced for the very first time a course, a subject called as business policy. So origin of business policy can be traced back to 1911, when Harvard Business School introduced an integrative course aimed at creation of general management capability among business executives. So what is the definition of business policy? Business policy is the study of the functions and responsibility of the senior management. Study of means analysis of the functions and responsibility of the senior management. The crucial problems that affect the success of the enterprise. Imagine if I start giving credit to everyone. Chances are number of bad debts or the amount of bad debts will go on increasing, because it is not a good credit policy to allow credit to everyone. I will give credit to only those customers whom I know. Right? Yes. And the decisions that determine the direction of the organization and shape its future. So the direction that we want to choose. If we have a good credit policy, if we have a good discount policy, we will be able to perform well as an organization. So with this, guys, we have completed the entire chapter. I hope you have understood everything. Try revising everything. Okay, so in the next class, I will discuss with you the next chapter, that is chapter number 3. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.